Greetings, everyone. Happy to see you. My name is Linkitao, and I am the Communications Director for GatherVerse. I am very happy to lead this panel discussion on evolving into tomorrow, today, enter the metaverse. So, this is all about the metaverse. And with me, I have an expert panel who will help us put a premium to this topic. Well, I ask you, my audience, please feel free to engage with this conversation. As for you, my panelists, I would ask you to introduce yourself, and I will start with you, May. I ask you to be brief, and you'll pass it on to, uh, to the rest of the speakers. Yes, May, please go on.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm May, I'm from Immersal. I am the head of developers community here. So we offer VPS visual positioning system.
Wonderful. Paige?
Hello, thank you. Nice to meet you, Lynn and panel. I'm Paige Danziger. I'm the founding director of Better World Museum and more initiatives, and I am proud to work for the Virtual World Society.
Wow, amazing. Ganesh?
Hi everyone, my name is Ganesh Raju, based in Texas. I am a founder, CEO of Akshaya.io, where we are developing metaverse that is focused on sports called Sportsverse, and another metaverse focused on food and hospitality industry called Foodverse. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Welcome. Kuldeep?
Hello, people. I'm Kuldeep Singh. I'm heading XR practice or XR related initiatives at ThoughtWorks. I'm also author of Exploring the Metaverse book I recently launched. Yeah.
Wow, congratulations. Now that you are an author of Exploring the Metaverse, I want us to explore the metaverse, and we will start with you. So, how can the metaverse redefine our understanding of identity, personal expression, and what implications does this have for the societal norms?
Yeah, definitely. So in my book, I have dedicated chapters to cover this topic. But yeah, so we are already seeing the social identity around us in social media world. We have already seen that identity shaping up. The virtual identity, virtual set of friends, and virtual society, and in some form, it is already shaping up. But when we talk about metaverse, our avatars will be replacing our identity. It will not just replicating our behavior, everything it going to replicate the way we are talking, the way we walk, everything it would replicate. So eventually it will be very difficult to differentiate between what is real identity and what is virtual. And another layer on top of it, we will have multiple identities. We'll be able to transform from one form to other form. Now it all looks scary, right? So that's where the challenges are. So definitely we need to ensure this transformation be really beneficial for connecting the world. We definitely need practices, standards, and I called out action in my book that we need actions from industries, academia, governing body, and people to come together and build those standards, practices, rules, and regulations which can help us to really adopt ethically and responsibly. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. I totally agree with that. Paige, I see you nodding. Do you want to add something on that?
Well, I would. Thank you so much. I wanted to support the idea that ethical considerations this is a wonderful opportunity now for working better together to create ethical frameworks for metaverse worlds today and in the future. I have personally led teams and independently created over 300 metaverse worlds for communities, for education, for museum interaction and engagement, as well as identity, community empowerment groups. And I would say that the more diverse and inclusive perspectives we have leading the ethical considerations, we will all benefit for generations to come.
Definitely, I totally agree with that, and congratulations on the very plausible work that you are doing, Paige. I want to get to you, Ganesh, but before that, Joseph, you're welcome. Kindly introduce yourself and tell us who you are briefly, and then we'll come to you, Ganesh.
Hi guys, thank you for connecting with me. Thank you, GatherVerse. My apologies for the late entry. I was held up in another meeting, had to rush, but it's well. Okay, currently I'm working as exam invigilator with VIX Global in Dubai, UAE. And VIX Global is an educational technology company. We normally do trainings and invigilate exams, either online or on-site. And my organization has been experimenting on the Metaverse on how to make exam invigilation, exam marking, and even trainings in the Metaverse platforms. I hope to talk more. Thank you.
Well, welcome. You're in the right place. Well, back to you, Ganesh. In what ways can the metaverse act as a catalyst for new forms of cultural evolution, and how do we ensure these transformations are beneficial?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I agree with Kuldeep and Paige on few of the things that they highlighted. Metaverse enables or removes all the boundaries that physical world has, right? So metaverse in the metaverse now you can have multiple identities, multiple worlds. You can express differently in different worlds, right? So you could even create societies and experience different societies that has its own norms and its own culture and everything, right? So now you could have a historical society, for example, that can be built, Roman society if you want, and experience how Romans lived in those days and how did things work, right? So you could, the metaverse enables it. In the physical world you cannot get that. So that is just one some of the use cases, right? So now you don't have to have one avatar, like Kuldeep had mentioned. You could have multiple avatars, and each avatar could have its own characteristics, its own strengths, its own expressions as well. And then you could join various different societies, different cultures, and express your yourself there as well. So that is a tremendous potential, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Then you're
I
muted.
look at it as, yeah. Sorry about that. And for me, I second with you, and I also look at it as an opportunity whereby you can multiply your time more. If you have more time to yourself and you can get your avatars to do the rest of your activities, perhaps attend meetings, I think that is a false multiplication for your time and also getting to spend more time with your family. May, I'm coming to you. As the boundary between physical and virtual worlds blurs, what new forms of governance are needed to address the unique challenges and the opportunities of the metaverse? And anyone can feel free to join on this one as well. May, please.
Yes, so as everyone already mentioned about the opportunity that we have for people to make sure that they are entering the metaverse in things that are related to what they would like to do, so they have that flexibility. They have they can honestly be themselves, because we have quite a few people in the world today that they don't feel comfortable in their own skin, for example. but they don't have a way to change that for some reason. So then in the metaverse, they can be their truly self. So they can show the world who they truly are inside of them. So that's, I believe that's an amazing thing, but we also need to make sure that we hold people accountable for their actions, because that could become also some kind of challenge, and we have people are just people, so we could have people taking advantage of that. So we need to make sure that we have rules, that we have this kind of a governance through the metaverse to be able to make people accountable for what they are doing. So we need to have the flexibility, we need to have the freedom to be ourselves, but at the same time we need to have also we need to have the need to be accountable for what we do in the metaverse.
Yeah, so to support what May said, no, I think these governance is also has to be developed as a community. Right now that is what is missing. There are multiple metaverse. There is no standards enforced, right? So how can open a governance that can be developed? Could it be open source, community driven? Maybe so that standards, the governance, the rules, has the regulations has to be open and as developed as a community. So that's my in addition to what May had said.
Well, thank
if
you
I
for
can
that.
just
Please go.
Okay,
so if I can just
I would direct you to the XR Guild, who is working as building a community surrounding ethical considerations. And then we have groups as well who are involved in policy making. And I really want to highlight that for us on the panel, we have the sense that I feel as though perhaps I could collectively say that we would encourage people who are watching today to become involved in participating in these discussions on ethical, inclusive, diverse, and sustainable metaverse can only be created if it includes your voice. So it is a place that is of, by, for all.
Definitely. Thank you for that addition. Joseph, I'm coming to you. I want to hear more from you about how can we design the metaverse to foster a new era of global collaboration, and what barriers do you think we must overcome to achieve this kind of vision?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. How can we design the metaverse to foster a new era of global collaboration? Okay, from my experience as a trainer and also exam invigilator in this field of educational technology, okay, the first aspect of design and the motivation behind design, the government should first take initiative. The government of the day, be it in the country or in the community, because we are all aware metaverse takes a lot of capital in terms of finances, software design, the hardwares. In Dubai, the government has taken the initiative in the design aspect, and once the government takes the initiative, then the private sector is encouraged, which is very important. Government, private sector participation, and also thirdly, the community at large must participate, be it schools, universities, businesses. We should all participate because we all have a stake. In terms of the barriers which we must overcome, okay, like the metaverse runs on the internet. Any country, any environment with poor internet, it means the community, the businesses will be left behind. And so far, okay, I'm impressed by the governments of the world doing their best to make sure the citizens and and the private sector at large have accessible internet in terms of speed, reliability. Thank you.
Okay. Paige, do you want to add something on that? I see you leaning in on that, and I feel like perhaps you have something to add.
Well, I think that it was really well said. I think that we're able to look at areas of our world that are facing accessibility issues, as well as really leading conversations that are community driven. So refraining from considering that we may have the right solution, and creating just the conversations to facilitate the solutions being driven by the community members that are impacted, whether it's through climate, through migration, through new communities, and to highlight and celebrate the members in our community that are doing the work so that they may create even wider impact.
That's a very good addition point to that. And May, I want to hear this from you. What are the philosophical implications of creating and inhabiting expansive virtual worlds regarding our concept of reality and existence?
Yes. So I believe that we need to understand that we can be ourselves, and we also need to understand, like, there is a blurred line between the virtual world and the reality and existing in both worlds. So we can be completely different people if we want. So we could have multiple avatars with different personalities, and that could maybe allow people who have different personalities in their own life to be able to target them and to make sure that they can express them. So that would be something that comes to my mind about giving people the opportunity to show the experience that they have, the personalities that they have. That's something that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
Definitely. Please.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe I add a few examples. So another implication of this is positive side, but there is implication also on the negative side is social isolation from the real world. For example, I might be a kings or queens in the world of metaverse, where I have huge wealth, and my behavior is very different than what real world is expecting me. When I come out of that world, I may not want to come out of that world. I missed why I would come out of that world, which is asking me to do normal household, for example. So that's where the social isolation may come into picture. So how really we will react when we move between different environments, how to balance out these things, all these will become philosophical challenges, or we need to really define this, at what extent the metaverse solution can take us in that. All these rules and restrictions need to come at some point. Yeah.
Definitely. I loved that user case whereby one personality in the metaverse world and another personality in the physical world or the real world. And it's still happening. It's not that it's something new. It's only that it's going to be more immersive with the metaverse. But it's happening. We have seen a lot of imposters. When people are dating online, I give that as an example. You meet someone online, a totally different person, and when you meet physically, this is something totally different from what you expected. Even with products, we have seen products being posted online, and the business owners portray that these products look like this and like that, and you choose to buy as a buyer. But when you get to have them in your hands, it's something totally different. I think this is going to be one of the implications in the metaverse, and it's something we have to prepare for. And moving on to that, okay, let me see. Okay, I missed the slide. Okay. I want to come to you, Kuldeep, again. In what ways might the metaverse revolutionize the economic landscape, and what strategies should be in place to manage this kind of disruption to traditional labor markets? I understand these are some of the things that you have covered in your book. Please give us a precise or an outlook of how this might look like.
Yeah. So metaverse definitely would bring various challenges related to sustainability from viability perspective, from equitability perspective, or bearability perspective, whether all the solutions we are talking about, say decentralized metaverse with NFT and blockchain and those kind of metaverses also. So how they are they environmental sustainable, and things like that. So there are in each aspect, whether they are economically sustainable or they are socially viable solution or not, or environmentally they are fit or not. Uh, there are a lot of challenges I talked about. On other side, the metaverse is characteristic as a self-sustainable ecosystem. People will join metaverse, not just that they would be able to survive there, they would be able to earn there, buy, sell, rent, or generate IPs or everything what they can do on the real world. Similar stuff they can do. The metaverse has its own currency. You can do all the trade and everything what you do. Now, how it can really challenge the traditional labor market? Probably we need to think differently. For example, one is using metaverse for upskilling the traditional labor market. So that's one way we could use it to manage the disruption. Because the technology we are talking about, new technologies like AI, Gen AI, or multimodal environment sensing tools. Every day we are getting it. GPT 4.0. You can sense the whole environment and spatial aware, all these things. To understand the what upcoming thing or working with, for example, robotics, it's not easy to train on the traditional ways on books and on digital screen, on 2D screen, etc. You definitely need more immersive environments, training environments to train them. So one is metaverse would probably help there to uplift or upskill the traditional labor. Other is metaverse is not only to disrupt the traditional labor, but it is actually providing more options. Today, if we look at social media, we have number of bloggers, influencers. They are generating and building earning on there. So there are more such options would come when these tools and technology will come. So I think the more options are coming. Of course, certain option will go away. Then more options. This is with respect to every technology, no matter what that is. But yeah, maybe I
Yeah,
ask others.
indeed. Indeed. Paige, you have been in this space longer, and I have seen you in a lot of virtual spaces. Please add on this particular discussion. What are the economic landscapes, and how does the metaverse disrupt the traditional labor markets?
I believe the future is really full of possibilities and quite vibrant for especially women around the world. I was at a VR women's meetup yesterday and learned the story of Diane Paul, who leads a group of young girls in Africa who is teaching and training them to not only use virtual reality, but also create their own marketplace with real as well as 3D assets. And it's really exciting, the skill development that's happening there. Additionally, at another one of the groups and groups that I work with at BitSpace Development, we've been developing worlds in Engage platform for a Georgian college, and including more groups in Manitoba who are Indigenous, and creating worlds that are learning language centers. The potential for using BitSpace Development also uses virtual and augmented reality for training students in skill building for practical skills, from welding to repairing railroads and developing trade skills. So a combination of including sectors through places in the world that either have limited education resources, or fostering new conversations that didn't exist before. Well, when we are creating a foundation of skill developed young new leaders, well, there's no holding back the possibilities for economic as well as like quantum development, by creating whole new structures of economy and commerce and systems of value.
Yeah, definitely. It also goes all the way to upskilling the skills for young people and new talent. Ganesh, I'm going to come to you. You're very big on AI, and when manipulation is mentioned, AI comes to my mind first. And I want you to tackle this. How can the metaverse enhance human cognitive and emotional experiences without becoming a tool for manipulation or control?
Yeah, absolutely. No, in terms of emotional experiences and things like, I can give you multiple use cases. Today, there are people who have these phobias, right? So if you have a phobia for animals, people get scared, looking at animals. So can we use metaverse as a tool to help them come out of those phobias? How can we do that? Can we have an AI that can work with them in the metaverse and slowly works at their face on removing that fear of animal? Right, that's just one use case, right? So AI could be an avatar in the metaverse that could have a customized training at the phase of the learner, and teach them and work with them and help them and be interactive as well, right? So that is something that is a good use case. There are other immersive experience training use cases that like Paige and Kuldeep had mentioned. Immersive training is big in healthcare, where you could bring whole human body, and you could teach them how to operate on them. And AI could be an assistant sitting right next to it, and if you do some mistake, probably, or reach out for help or guidance, and use as an AI. So this is the next next evolution of chatbots, right? So you could have AI in it, and the whole environment could be customized based on your emotions at that moment, or where you're struggling at that moment. The whole thing can be customized based on AI.
Yeah, definitely, indeed. I love how positive you are about
Can I add
AI.
something to that?
Yeah, yes, yes, please add to that.
Yeah, just to add on what Mr. Ganesh has said. Okay, I have observed some students, they are more comfortable doing online trainings and exams. because the time I'm marking the exams or I'm in the class doing the vigilation, some students are more anxious. But when it's online training, online exams, they're good. And I believe for the metaverse, will cut across board, not only for the students, even for the older generation, because if for the older generation, they have no options. Those above 50, those above 40, they have to make adaptations. And I have seen with the online trainings, the older guys are also comfortable because the time I'm mixing the older guys and the students who are in their 20s and 30s in the class, some of the older guys feel like they are out of class, in quotes. But the trainings in their own homes, in their own offices, through our online platforms, all the age groups are comfortable. And I believe for the metaverse, with each person with their own creations, the pass marks and the trainings will skyrocket. Thank you.
Yeah. And what I'm getting from you, Joseph, if you're dealing with multiple ages, it's creating room for everyone to feel included. And I think that is one of the most crucial things if you're doing something to do with community or you're doing something that has to do with the general public. You have to make everyone feel included and no one is out of space. And yeah, we should continue advancing the metaverse. I think the future is bright with it. And May, I want to come to you with this ethical consideration. We've talked about ethics and ethics, but we haven't talked about the ethics that should be considered when it comes to the development of immersive technologies to avoid exacerbating digital divides and other forms of inequality. Could you please help us in tackling this discussion?
Yes, sure. So something that like I would like to talk about, it's accessibility. So not everyone today have access to the metaverse. So we would need to create something that would be accessible for everyone. We also would need to bear in mind about other type of accessibility. So not just like physical, but also social, so monetary. So we need to make sure that we have something that would be free, that everyone would be able to access it. So we would need to develop something that would achieve people all around the world in all places. So that's something that we need to consider when we develop this technology. And something that I would like to bring here as well, it's about interoperability, because right now we have a lot of metaverses, but they are not connected to each other. So that's something that I see that we should improve, because we would need to be able to kind of connect all those metaverses and create one unique to allow people to access all of them, and then they can choose which ones they would like to keep following, to keep interacting, and which ones that they would like to, okay, this is not for me, so let's move on to the next. But they should be able to access all of them if they want.
And on top
Yeah.
of, if I may add, the technology behind all this has to also become cheaper. The infrastructure cost right now, I think Joseph, he had pointed out, is it takes a lot of infrastructure behind developing this metaverse. And sometimes if it is very realistic Unreal Engine kind of a metaverse, that takes tremendous infrastructure, right? So once that the cost comes down, and even the goggles, right? So Apple Vision Pro is $4,000, right? So now, even though you don't need a goggle to experience a metaverse, you can just use a laptop. But even then, those glasses give a much better immersive experience. If those glasses all come down in price, that will also help in inclusivity, give access to everybody in the society too.
Definitely. And yesterday we were actually talking about that accessibility. And someone added yesterday that design is one of the best way to foster adoption, because you have to design something that the clients want. You have to design something that that is solving something for the users, you know, and you have to design something that is accessible to even people with a disability. uh, Joseph, I would jump this for you because you are in education. And as you answer this question, you'll also tell us how you are tackling exams online and how do you know when uh, students are doing exams not using ChatGPT or any other Gen AI. How do you normally know if a student is cheating or not? But first of all, what role can the metaverse play in redefining educational paradigms, and how do we ensure it enhances rather than replacing the traditional learning environment? Over to you.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. And being an exam invigilator for online exams is a challenge. But okay, I'll answer from experience. What role can the metaverse play in refining educational paradigms? Okay, so far my organization, by hosting the online exams, students have more access to the exams compared to some years back when they had to come on site, because some students are working. And in the past, we used to have few students for the exams, but after the COVID situation and the online aspect was emphasized by the government and the private sector, students of all ages from their homes, they have been accessing the exams and the trainings, of which it has worked out for good for all the companies, especially here in Dubai. Secondly, students have been able to share their thoughts, because we have students in UK, in Asia, in Africa, in America, and through the online trainings, students have been able to interact real time. And for the case of Metaverse, using the avatars, the students will be able to share their ideas irrespective of the country. Like this particular meeting, we are all in different countries or locations. Imagine now that we are all now in the metaverse with our own unique avatars, with our own unique colors and designs and goggles as such. Thirdly, for the metaverse, for my organization, okay, we have done trials with particular companies, but okay, for now, some of the companies, the management have been asking tough questions in terms of costs. Even though in the long run it will be cheaper, but for now, the companies which have done the experiments for the metaverse, for the exams, they have been asking about the initial cost. But I believe that will change. Okay, for the second question, how do we ensure it enhances rather than replace traditional learning? Okay, traditional learning still has a part to play. Traditional learning can be as simple as parenting in the house. There's simple parenting in the house. Now imagine a parent is in New York and the children are in Africa. And the parent has his own avatar and the children have their own avatars. That will be taking it to another step. For the younger generation, it will be easier for them seeing their parents in avatars in the metaverse. But for the traditional learning, for now, it cannot be replaced because some things are more fruitful than traditionally. But hopefully, 10 years plus, the traditional will be like a dream, like it will be like a once upon a time. Thank you.
Oh, nice, nice. I want to hear more thoughts on that. What do you think on traditional learning environments? Do you think in the future we will still be having them, or are we heading to a place where even learning will be very immersive and virtual? Someone just joined on this debate. I want to hear from you.
I think it's how many times have we heard, oh, our education system is broken? We actually have this incredible opportunity to redefine what works better and what impacts more people for the world that we deserve and hope to create as an aspirational place of connected unity and growth and sustainable cities, whether it's climate impacts or um, like um, like structural inequities. We're able to overcome and work through this. What if every day was a hackathon? Or every day was an opportunity to create a garden on the moon or in space. So broadening our thinking and really looking at what it means to build collaboratively when we are able to dismantle our structures really literally by deleting walls or changing the parameters or the gravity surrounding that. We have a sense of agency that ultimately, through the process of dissolving isolation and feelings of powerlessness that come from the lack of agency and the impacts of the negative broken structures, we can completely create this well, I believe, more positive world for generations to come. It's in our hands. Whether we're hands-free or using controllers or a mobile device, we do have the power as long as it's driven by the people.
Yeah, that is a very, very strong point. We have the power, and there's a need, there's a very huge sense of urgency to disrupt the education system. We have always complained that the education system has never changed, and that is true. And this is the best opportune time whereby me, as someone like me or you or Ganesh, can just start their online classes and teach whatever they need to teach that is required for future skills or for the existing skills or just to enhance what we know. May I see your mic unmuted? I see you want to add something on that. Please do.
Yes, so thank you. So if I can just add my 2 cents here. So imagine now that we are in the future where we can allow the students to really experience, for example, physics, which is something that it's more complicated for the teachers to explain because they can't really interact with that. So imagine that they can interact with that in AR, for example, or then imagine like if you were working with like a craft, like crafting something, could be even with like wood crafting, that you want to teach these skills to the people so they can start doing something like without any kind of how can I say danger, because there is some kind of small dangers, even though like if you want to start like with kids, teaching them how to cut something, so you would eliminate all that risk that would be behind it and give them the ability to develop their dexterity, for example, or to play music or something. They could start something that to try it out. So I don't need to buy a guitar to start learning how to play the guitar. And then if I like that, then I can buy the guitar and have the guitar. So people can experience more. I would love to see that in the future. I'm waiting for that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, that's a great use case for chemistry classes where you can avoid any blowout of chemicals and things like that. And to add to it, I think simulated environment along with collaborative learning, right? If you can bring back historical places and you have people join from everywhere and come to that same place to learn about it, and they can bring different viewpoints because they come from various different places, and now the whole environment is a historical place that is simulated now, and now you're learning history lessons along with them. right? So, and you could even have an expert, you can work with an expert in a particular field to design a metaverse. Somebody might be an architect, right? So he comes up with great ideas. So you want to learn civil engineering, right? So you can work with a great architect and create simulated environments, and it could be a collaborative and learning too.
Definitely. Could they please add something on that?
Yeah. So definitely one thing is which I really like about is the global learning, global presence of learning. It is not limited to a country that I need to go to Oxford and then only I get something. Now it is available at a remote location in a small village in India, for example. People can just connect to internet and things are available. So that's what the stage of metaverse where you will be able to get learning or from your choice of the professors. Maybe their avatars are teaching, that's fine, but I will get the sense of what I want and how I if someone is very influential is teaching me something, I get things faster. Now all those aspects can easily be simulated and provide a training courses that fits to my personalized learning environment, which is a very fascinating thing, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's high time we complement our textbooks that have been there for years, and it's now time to make the books very massive for our students. And Metaverse is redefining how we are learning. It's not just about answering questions, because traditional education is all about answering questions. But when we bring in the aspect of AI, emerging technology, and the metaverse, it's now a matter of how creative can you be, how immersive can the child be, how creative in their own specific angles, because kids have different ways of learning, kids have different ways of understanding things. And I think I look at the metaverse and I see a lot of possibilities. The only thing I wouldn't want for the metaverse to do is to have our kids having to wear gadgets all the time. That's not, I don't envision that kind of a future where kids are just learning with gadgets. I think it's tiresome, and the nature of kids being playful, I think gadgets would be broken every time, and parents would be complaining that I'm not buying any gadget anymore because they're already destroying it. We only have much time, and I would want to hear closing remarks for each one of you. And I will start with you, May. Please be brief.
Sorry, I just missed the last part. I had some issues here. Can you just repeat, please?
Yeah, we are here heading to the closing remarks. Any other additional thing that you would like to say before we end the session?
Yes, I just would like to thank everyone here. Thank you very much for the invite. And this was an amazing panel. So a lot of people talking, I believe, almost the same thing. That's what I really love about this, because we all align. So there is not really a lot of divergences between our opinions here. So I really like that we are all following the same path and the same direction. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Joseph?
I, I am grateful for the opportunity. And what I can say is that we need to continue with such discussions. For the government, private sector, communities, such discussions should continue. And also, there should be quality control checks in terms of asking the right questions. We should not just leave the big companies to push for the new technologies, but each one of us have to ask questions, be it parents in schools, the administrators, the common people on the streets. All of us need to participate so that the technologies benefit benefit all of us. Otherwise, thanks. I'm grateful for meeting you.
Wow, thank you. That is a very strong remark. Kuldeep, I see you with your books, and please tell us where you can get your books as well as you do your closing remarks.
Yeah, so I think there might still be long path to reach there. The stage of metaverse, which is I feel a next internet stage. Um, there might be still a lot of challenges and opportunities, but only thing is we cannot ignore that. So it is responsibility of everyone to create that awareness, um, be aware what they are using, because there are still a lot of things to get mature to reach the right level. um, but we cannot ignore this evolution. It's not like, yeah, there are so many issues that avoid using this. That's not possible. We will start using it. So it is better know it what we are using it rather than using it without knowing what's in our hand. So yeah.
Definitely. And I'm sure you can get your books at Amazon, as you mentioned, right?
Yeah, Amazon.
Okay. Ganesh? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Ganesh, can
So
you?
yeah, thank you, everyone. Amazing panel. Thanks for the opportunity as well. I'm super excited with the potential and opportunity that Metaverse can bring. Ready for to be in the 3D world from the two from the existing 2D. But again, like Kuldeep and everybody else has mentioned, there is a lot of work to be done, especially to make sure there are proper standards, proper governance, and everything is built ethically, right? So that is something, and there is when there is a change, this is a new technology, we are at the very initial stage of such a revolution, but any change will come with resistance. So there are people who still do not believe the potential in metaverse, and we need to work on those. And I'm very positive.
Thank you so much. Paige, briefly, as you sign us off.
Well, thank you, Lynn. Your questions today were so brilliant. They really activated a spark in each one of us. I was inspired by May, Ganesh, Kuldeep, and Josephus in so many ways today. Thank you.
Wow, amazing. We are GatherVerse. This is what we do best. We bring people together. Our audience, thank you for the engagement. And please feel free to engage with our panelists. We have their LinkedIn and their social media handles there. Our GatherVerse as well. Over to you, Christopher. Thank you so much.